Susanna, if you could put your video on, I can find you. There we are. Fantastic. Hello, how are you?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here. It's a great pleasure to be here sharing this symposium with all of us,
Yeah,
with
it's
all of
great.
you.
It's great to see you again. Susanna and I met, as many folks know, I don't travel much anymore. I try to reduce any of my carbon miles, but I couldn't resist a trip to Tübingen earlier this year to meet with lots of amazing rights of nature people, and Susanna was one of them. So, Susanna, if you do want to share slides, I've made you able to do that. And yeah, we'd love to hear about what's been going on in Spain. There's been some amazing developments around bodies of water. That's it, Menor Lagoon. So over to you, Susanna. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Could you confirm that you can see my slides?
Yes, we can see the slides.
Thank
It's
you
very
very
good.
much. Maybe better this way.
Ah, yes, that's even bigger. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Michelle, for inviting me to be here with all of you, sharing this symposium. I think it's a great idea to share the updates around the recognition of rights of nature around the world. So thank you for this initiative. And also I thank to the Australian Earth Laws Alliance for this opportunity. Before to start explaining a little bit the Spanish experience in the recognition of the legal personality for the Mar Menor Lagoon in Spain, I may say that in this presentation I invite Professor Teresa Vicente, who is a full professor in philosophy of law at the University of Murcia in Spain. And maybe, as you know, she was and she is still one of the main promoter of this new law, the very first one in Europe recognizing the rights of nature of an ecosystem. So, but she will join probably later. I hope so, because it will be a good opportunity to learn a little bit more about the updates in this regard. But she's finishing her classes at the university. Here is 11 o'clock in morning. So, but yeah, we will see. She confirmed me yesterday that she will be able to join us. So I think it will be a good opportunity to learn more about. Thank you. So just to give you some general information on the context in which this recognition has taken place in Spain, I would like to share a little bit the geographical situation of Mar Menor. Mar Menor is located in the southeastern part of Spain. This lagoon is close to Mediterranean Sea, as you can see in this map. Mar Menor is the largest saltwater lagoon in Europe. And from the last year, as I mentioned before, is the first ecosystem in Europe to be granted legal status as a person holder of rights. This ecosystem is really important because, as you can see, it represents not only a lagoon, but also a piece of land. All the area represents nearly 170 square kilometers. It is a very important ecological area with endemic species, and it is a refuge and a breeding place for dozens of seabirds and other living species that inhabit its waters, islands, and shores. So it is therefore a place of vital natural importance. However, for several years, this ecosystem has been suffering from serious processes of environmental overexploitation, mainly due to agricultural and tourist activities, which has caused, as you can see in this picture, the death of tons of fish, mainly in the period which was more severe and critical period of degradation of the zone was between 2019 and 2021. This has happened after many unsuccessful attempts to achieve a better protection of Mar Menor and its basin, using several conventional instruments of environmental law, such as the Ramsar Wetlands Conservation Mechanism under the Ramsar Convention, and also under the mechanism within Europe as the Nature 2000 protection mechanism. So despite of these instruments, the situation of Mar Menor was really critical and is still really critical. Therefore, in October 2021, a group of people initiated a so-called popular legislative initiative, and was really a successful initiative. This initiative was supported by more than 600,000 signatures from the civil society in a way to promote a new legislative process to recognize the legal personality of Mar Menor and the recognition of its rights. The resulting of this initiative, which was really successful. The new law was passed in September 2022. And this law is really short. It was approved by the majority of the two chambers, by the Spanish Parliament and the Senate. It was adopted by a large majority of the members of the two chambers. This law is really short. It's only 7 articles, and really understandable for anyone that could have information on which means to have, for Mar Menor to have a legal personality and rights. This law recognizes the legal personality of the Mar Menor, and it recognizes in Article 2 its own rights, the right to exist as an ecosystem and to evolve naturally, as well as its rights to protection, conservation, maintenance, and restoration. As natural entity, as you perfectly knows, the Mar Menor cannot speak up for itself, and therefore the law provides 3 new bodies who share the guardianship for the Mar Menor. First of all, we have, according to Article 3, the Committee of Representatives. It is composed by 13 members, 3 from the General State Administration, 3 from the Regional Administration, and the rest 7 members from the civil society. This committee proposes actions for the protection, conservation, maintenance, and restoration of the lagoon, and also supervises the compliance of this law and the rights of the lagoon. The second body is the Monitoring Commission, which is committed to disseminate information on the law, monitors and controls the respect of the rights of the lagoon, and provides periodical information on compliance of this law, following the scientific advice of the Scientific Committee, which is the third body established in this Article 3 of the law. The Scientific Committee has the responsibility to, it is an independent body and has the responsibility to provide advice to the Committee of Representatives and the Monitoring Committee. Commission, sorry, and the main commitment is to identify ecological indicators, just to provide information on the state of the ecosystem and the risk that the lagoon faces, and adopts appropriate measures to restore the ecosystem of Mar Menor. And these measures are communicated to the Commission of Monitoring of the law. The following articles, Article 4 and Article 6, are mainly on the implementation of the law. Article 4 establishes the direct implementation of the law. Actually, this law is developing by a new regulatory act that will, I think it's still under to be approved, but it will be approved in short. And Article 6 will Article 6 provides measures to be for the law to be enforced, and recognizes a broad standing pursue against those who are not in compliance or who are violating the rights of the lagoon. As you can see, this article recognizes that any natural or legal person can be entitled to protect the ecosystem, presenting these violations before the judicial bodies in Spain. This law was very welcome, mainly for activists and civil society, mainly people from living in the surroundings of Mar Menor. However, since the approval of this law, several controversial questions have arisen in particular from legal scholars, scholars from constitutional schools and administrative schools of law, and saying several arguments against this law. Unfortunately, they had or they provide arguments to reject this law. I will try just to give some ideas. Waiting for Teresa, because Teresa can give you more information about. She is still working on the implementation of this law, so it will be great to have her with us. We will see. But I just raise the main controversial questions regarding the rejection of this law within the legal schools in Spain. First of all, some scholars consider that this law is fully unconstitutional, since unlike the Ecuadorian constitution, the Spanish constitution doesn't recognize the rights of nature. In our constitution was adopted in 1978 after the civil war, and this constitution and also the dictatorship of Franco, and this constitution only states in Article 45 an anthropocentric vision of environmental law, since it provides that everyone has the right to enjoy an environment suitable for personal development, as well as the duty to preserve and to protect it. Therefore, this article places the human being at the center of environmental protection, and according to these legal scholars, nature is not included. So Teresa and myself and other scholars are not sharing this view. For us, the proof is that according to the Colombian experience, the Colombian constitution doesn't recognize the rights of nature, but the Supreme Court and the Constitutional Court has made an ecological interpretation of the Constitution. We are really convinced that this provision, this article, it has no sense without the recognition of the rights of nature, because it's not possible to fulfill this article without suitable protection of nature. So it doesn't make sense to recognize a human right to environmental healthy situation without considering the intrinsic value of nature. and its ecosystems and natural elements. So the ecocentric interpretation, according to us, is possible. In fact, the law is referring to judicial decision adopted by our Supreme Court in 1990, which states that the nature is a fundamental argument to recognize the human right to a healthy environment. And I think this ecocentric interpretation could be enough to complement Article 45. But there is still some scholars against to these arguments. Moreover, other controversial aspects has been referred to the fact that the recognition of the rights of nature has been declared within an intrinsic link between the cosmovision and rights of ethnic communities with nature, that it doesn't happen in Spain, according to them. Teresa and myself, again, we don't share this argument. Once again, we are really convinced that people living around the lagoon are really aware of the importance of the lagoon for their history, their culture, and they have an intrinsic link with the lagoon. And therefore, we are really convinced that the successful RIF law was thanks to the civil society, which are really convinced of the importance of this lagoon, not only for the intrinsic value, for natural and value, but also for the connection that many people have with the lagoon. And finally, the last question, which has been still controversial, is why to adopt the rights of nature as a new instrument to protect the lagoon? Will this recognition, this new recognition, will guarantee a better or further protection of the lagoon? It is clear that, according to us, the defenders of the lagoon, that the recognition of the lagoon rights will increase the standards of protection further from those protection provided by the environmental law mechanisms. We are convinced that the rights of nature will not replace the environmental mechanism, but will instead reinforce this mechanism. We know that we need the environmental mechanisms, such the environmental responsibility mechanisms existing in the Spanish environmental law to protect the rights of the lagoon, but we still need a further recognition based on the intrinsic value to reconnect the people with the lagoon. In particular, people who are not really aware on the critical situation that the lagoon faces today. So these are the main arguments to reject this law, but we are really convinced that the law has a broad civil legitimization, since the law was passed with the majority of the chambers, both chambers, the legislative both chambers, and we expect that the future developments will be a great opportunity to reinforce not only the law and its implementation, but also the connection of a Spanish population to the lagoon and the intrinsic value of the lagoon. So I will leave it here. I don't know if Teresa is among us, because I wanted to have her opinion, maybe the main updates of the implementation of the law. So I see that Teresa is among us. So thank you, Teresa, for being here. So please add anything you want. You can make remarks to my explanations. because you know better than me the situation. So you are very welcome to add any information that you may explain.
Thank you so much, Susanna, and hello, Teresa. If you do want to share slides, hello, you can share slides, or please, add any comments you wish.
Yeah, thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Susana. Thank you, all of us. It's a pleasure for me to be with you now. Yes, at the end, I have wrote the law, the project of law, and I have been fighting in the process in the Congress to still the meaning of the law. Also, the different party try with enmiendas to develop the law, but at the end we were in one agreement. Then anybody change the original letter of the law, and then for us or for the citizen is our law, because in the process of the parliament any change has been. That's when some enmienda, it was good for us. At the end we wrote the last sentence, and then but one important thing to say is that this law, the right of nature for Mar Menor, is coming from a new paradigm into the theory of justice. We are talking about ecological justice because, like Susana said, the question is, we still in anthropocentric way, like our constitution or like our economy or like our law, that we are the humanity is separate and superior of the nature, and we are the owner of the nature. We still in this paradigm also now when the nature is very ill, and it's not enough to steal for future generation. We still in the anthropocentric, because the social justice where we are now don't recognize the relationship between human and nature. And then we need another justice paradigm. I'm teacher of philosophy of law, and philosophy of law is who review the law, critic the law. The philosophy of law is the only area into the law who can create a new model. Also, I have been lawyer for a long time, until that in a moment I couldn't, because I must choose still in the university full time and say bye-bye to my career like lawyer. And then I choose the university just to improve ecological justice until get right for nature. And then it has been now. I have a presentation just to take some picture, because Susana explained very well a lot of things, and then for me it's better focus in some aspect, and then I think in my presentation we can look for it. I don't know if I get it, because I'm a disaster with this.
Also, Teresa, we only have about 5 minutes left for our discussion about Spain. Is that okay? We then have another speaker. Yeah.
Okay, then I go very quickly, because some of them Susana explained very good, and then just stop in the new thing where we are now.
Okay.
Important things: the international impact of right of Mar Menor, because it is the first ecosystem in Europe who recognize right of nature. Then now all the planet, in every continent, we have some example for right of nature. Then it has been the point to a General Assembly in United Nations, has a resolution, a mandatory, that say that next April we'll have the first Earth Assembly to listen the nature and began a new way to get international declaration of right of nature, to work together with the International Declaration of Human Rights that we get last century. This is very important, and this is at the end of my presentation. The other question is that now this law is working in 3 criminal case in the court. The charge called Mar Menor, you are damaged in this process and you are Juris personality, then I call you to come here. And then is 2 articles very important in the law. One is number 6 that say that every person around the world we have the possibility to defend Mar Menor because we are Mar Menor, we are nature. And the other one is just for administration and for focus in the necessity of Mar Menor forever, that is number 3. Then it was a big discussion in the university in Spain that if this law, the law of Mar Menor, is working 1 year, began to be positive, to be obligatory from 3 of October last year, then near 1 year. Then some people say, oh no, we must wait for the reglementation to improve the tutor, the 3 committee that Susana said. I say, no, it's not true. The law is working now. And then this chart in these 3 cases do that. Then this is very important. And that's all. Then now, if I come very quickly, oh, I can't. What happened? I don't know. I can move. Yes. Huh? Oh, this is the new paradigm, ecological justice. I told you this is Mar Menor. Susana told you where is Mar Menor. This is the why Mar Menor is near death, because our model, our economy model is just thinking that Mar Menor is one object and we can get from Mar Menor a very big business for our economy. At the beginning, minery, after urbanization, and now intensive agriculture, that is agriculture and farm, that is near collapse Mar Menor. This is now how is the La Manga Mar Menor. This is this piece of land that separates Lagoon from Mediterranean, and now, like you can see, it's like this. It's crazy. And before this, minery, and now all the basin full of intensive agriculture and farm pit. Then, at the same time, like Susana said, we have a lot of protection, environmental law. We get it along 30 years, but at the same time, the economic development is that contaminate Mar Menor. Then it's not working, this protection, because in these 30 years, it's worse and worse and worse. This is what happened. And then after that, a big social movement coming. Very, very big. Any different from politic ideas, any different from children, young people, old people, any different, all of us that give a big arm of Mar Menor and we say, stop. Any one ecological consent is coming, and people in the square around Menor ask for scientific and politics to explain what happened. They invite me. I explain that I was studying with my student the possibility to give Menor right, and then people began to be crazy. We want that. Then this is the project of law. This is the Minister of Ecological Transition, Teresa Rivera. This is the promoter commission, a student, teacher, and normal people that they live near Menor. And then we went there and then began the process. This is that when it was that 2 months before the law say we need 500,000 signatures. Then we have that only 2 months, and we have only 300,000. But then Menor cry, Menor speak, Menor say, I am near death because you don't let me breathe. Then after that, it was a big revolution. Everybody, also the president of the government, signed. Menor proposed to get right, and then we didn't need the 3 extra months that the government gave us because we were in COVID all the time, and we get not only 500,000, we get near 6. This is the number, no? A lot of more. It was a crazy. Before the time, and there are 200,000 more that we need. Then I went to the Congress, and we get in the Congress more than the maximum that the law recognizes in Spain. We get the law with all the honor, because after Congress we went to Senado, and then it's very difficult that one law go finish in Senado. The majority of law returned to the Congress, but it wasn't the case. And all the party on the right, on the left, on the middle, big, little party, all say yes. Only 3 persons say no. Is Vox. And then it's what a triumph for the citizen. And then this is when United Nations call that explain in the report that we get the law, and then invite me. This is the secretary of the university. This is the mayor of Alcázares. We get at the beginning a local in a local community the right of Menor, but after the parliament of my region say no, and then is when we try the other opportunity is in the national law, and then we get it. Then I defend this in United Nations, and then United Nations know that all the planet we have right of nature, and then they publicate that. This is our law that is working from 3 of October last year, and then we are here. Now we get in the last COP in Montreal that right of nature is into the Global Biodiversity Convention. This is important. Is the target number 19. The ecocentric vision and the right of Mother Earth. And then also now we have the mandatory from the General Assembly that next April we have the first Earth Assembly. And that's all. Thank you very much.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Teresa. And thank you for all your amazing hard work caring for your lagoon. I do hope that it's already starting to see some better health. Have there been actual improvements in the water quality for the fish?
Oh,
There have been
now,
since, yeah.
now we are in another moment that say, oh, this is very difficult. But you know, in every moment, in all this process, everybody say, this is possible, this is impossible, this is impossible. And now we have the law, and the court began to call Mar Menor, go into the court. They call the Minister of Ecological Transition to go there, all the Greenpeace, Ecologistas en Acción, a lot of people. And then now it's another discussion, you know, but we improve all the time. For example, now I'm coming from the class in the university with my student, and they are like crazy. But this is very difficult, professor. And yes, it's difficult, but at the beginning it was impossible. It was a utopia. And now we have the law, and the court acts Mar Menor like a person. Then something very revolutionary is coming. Now we have a problem here, but the same problem that in Colombia they have with Atrato River. Because now it's a lobby here, lobby for intensive agriculture, for minery, for this model of economy that think that the nature is one object. And we have a big problem, but we get the law. And this is very important, because if we didn't have the law, then we will be lost. And then it's important.
And it's interesting, Teresa, there are some comments from other Australians here about how powerful it is to have those triggers in your existing legal system where enough people, enough signatures can trigger the creation of a law. We don't have that in the Australian legal system. Making law in Australia from a citizen point of view, other than electing your representative in Parliament, can be very, very hard. So I think many of us wish we had some of those functions in our legal system. I think what would be really terrific is to invite you both back for a longer discussion, maybe later in this year, and have a whole hour devoted to the work you're doing. I have a lot of questions about the guardianship structure of your legal personhood law, because that's a little different to other places. But if you don't mind, we might actually move to our guests from Germany, because I'm aware for some people it's getting late in Australia, and for other people it's earlier in their day. But Susana, Teresa, many people are saying thank you for all your wonderful hard work. Really appreciate your talk. Thank you for joining us after a busy time teaching, Teresa. And please send our love and kisses to the Mar Menor, and we hope that it feels much better. I hope I said that right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Susana, I might email you some questions about how the guardianship structure works. I hope that's okay. Thank you so much. I really hate ending each of these conversations in a hurry, but it's one of those days where we're catching up with lots of people about different initiatives. So I hope you can stay on and listen to Ricarda, who I know is there.